SGDQ2018 sends in $25. Great work, everybody. It's always nice to see you guys rushing through games that took me days to complete. Keep it up. Ms. Badgerine sends in $20. Good morning, SGDQ. Run fast, have fun. All right, next up, and what we have right now is Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage with AlexDest, so let's hear it.
All right, so I guess we're ready. All right, so a new one on timer. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so I'm AlexDest, and this is Spyro 2. I'm going to start off by explaining the broken jump mechanic in this game we call the double jump. What's supposed to happen is when you jump and then you're charging right while you're in the air, you're supposed to go down, but when you're not holding any directions before you charge, you get sent upwards, acting like a second jump. So you're going to see a lot of sequence breaking and a lot of out of bounds of me going from beginning of the level to the end. So just like that, I'm right at the end.
So a major thing that's going to be used in this run is actually collecting some gems for certain requirements. The first time that we'll actually need to get gems is for 400 gems, I believe, for Zephyr. So
yeah, we need 800 gems, and we're going to spend all of them in Autumn Plains. Alex is doing a swimless route, which means that he doesn't need an extra 500 gems to pay money bags here. It also means he's going to do some pretty cool proxies later on.
speaking of proxies, I'll honestly let the first one speak for itself, and I'll explain it from that point on.
Also, couch roll call. I'm April Cake.
Yeah.
I'm Chris LBC.
I'm C517.
And this is AZscape.
You guys got some time for some donations?
Not actually. He's about to hopefully
right.
bounce off that beetle.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe the next one.
Okay. There's another one, but if I fail this one, I'm just gonna go through the level like normal.
Okay.
I'll just set up for it.
So essentially what he's trying to do
Okay.
is
All right, there we go.
just that.
All right, so I'm going to try to explain proxies now. So Spyro actually has two different kinds of states in this game. There is a charging state that allows you to overpower through enemies' hitboxes, and pretty much any other state in the game where you don't overpower through enemy hitboxes. So we tend to use that we tend to abuse it through the use of just changing our states inside of enemies' hitboxes.
Because
But-
if you're not in a charging state when you are in an enemy's hitbox, the game will think that you're stuck and it will eject you at a high speed.
Yes.
So I just realized this is on standard disk speed.
It's okay.
It's all right, yeah.
Just gonna lose a couple minutes to loads.
So this level is a pretty major example of generally grabbing a bunch of extra gems.
Also a good example of how the devs didn't really intend the double jump mechanic to be a thing. So in a lot of places where things look solid, they are not. Like you saw him go through that tiki head at the beginning of the level. Basically, if they didn't think a thing had to be solid, they left it unsolid to save space on the disk. Also another example of just completely ignoring what everyone says. No need to know.
I would probably say that we have time for a couple quick donations.
Fantastic, because Easy Scape sent in $500. Yeah. They say Spyro 2 is my favorite game ever made, and it is an amazing speed game. I've been looking forward to this run all event. Good luck, Dest.
Thank you.
So that frog proxy there actually was... that was actually a pretty good proxy. Oh, my throat is like catching me right now. Sorry.
You're going to see an interesting clip in this level. I'm going to walk forward into a wall that comes out at me. So I'm going to be walking right underneath it at a certain angle to clip out of bounds. Right here. And that gets me at the end of the level. Thanks to some conveniently placed platforms there.
So coming up in the next level here, there is actually something that keeps a lot of people from going for the swimless route of this game. There is a turtle head proxy that you need to do. Now, generally, to set up the proxy in the first place isn't that bad because the turtle maintains... It tends to be fairly stationary, but you need a very high one to be able to get out of the starting area of the level.
So hopefully I get this within like 5 tries.
You can
Otherwise,
do it.
I'm going to be here a while.
You're not going to be here a while. No, first try. Come on, let's go. Told you.
Just like that.
And there
Yeah,
he
that-
actually just charged straight off the button and went through the wall.
Yeah, that turtle can give runners trouble when going for this route. You can either get it first try, 5th try, or maybe like 20th.
It's the first great equalizer of swimless runs.
So I'm really glad I got this first try.
Now he's going to go for another troublesome proxy in Aquaria Towers right after... Oh, no, it is this level. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have to go to Aquaria Towers last because or else he gets stuck behind this wall since he actually just skipped paying money bags for that wall because, you know, double jump just completely breaks this game.
We don't believe in paying money bags around here.
Only when we have to.
Exactly. Perfect. All right, now get the
Well,
next
that's the
one.
first one. No, that was,
Oh.
he was a bit too close.
And
so,
you might... Oh, go ahead.
So with fodders, you have to go a certain distance away from them to respawn them. So that's about as far as I can go to get this sheep to respawn.
And you might notice the talisman giver right there. We actually can't talk to him because he will give us the talisman speech, but not the talisman.
Yeah.
And we would have to re-enter.
So if
Well-
if I fell down there, I have to exit level and re-enter. So I get stuck here. So maybe I'll actually get sheep on re-entry.
You will.
But
You just
yeah,
gotta
you're,
believe.
in this level, you're supposed to hit some buttons to fill each room with water. And to get the talisman, you have to hit the last button, no matter what.
Oh, man.
The guy doesn't, yeah, like she said it, he doesn't like giving the talisman unless you hit the last button.
All right.
There we
Okay.
go.
So that was the last
And you
button
get to
of
see
Aquaria.
that crab through the wall.
Bye, crab.
So we filled up like half the level with water? No, not even. Just the
Just a
last
room.
part. Yeah.
Our world is wet again, but really it's
Yeah.
just his room.
If you get the buttons out of order, it really breaks the level.
You get a lot of like invisible water planes everywhere. That's actually abused quite a bit in the 100% route.
All right, so first boss.
Well done. Okay.
So you're going to see some really interesting stuff here. Crush essentially stands on these buttons and starts doing attacks. What we want to do is we want to keep him on the same button with the button between Crush and Spyro so that Crush continually goes to the same one. In addition, Alex is actually going to damage abuse in order to do it even faster.
So for the first one, we actually want him to move to a different button, because or else it's a lot harder to do the second phase of the fight.
And Alex isn't even going to let Crush attack.
This setup here for these damage abuses on the lava is actually very precise to do. So that was found actually within like the last year or so by a new runner named Drash.
We kind of knew about damage abuse, but Drash really found a more consistent setup and made it easier. Now during this phase, Crush actually steps towards you. So Alex is going to let Crush step close and swing, and then he's going to make sure to turn around so that Crush immediately goes back to the same button.
As you can see, Crush is a little bit blind. You jump near him.
Oh, you don't get the crush face.
Oh, Crush face, no space. Best cutscene in the game?
No, this one is.
Hard disagree.
If you ever played this game casually, the cutscenes are pretty great. Okay, so the first on Plains level features some pretty flashy stuff. There's also, this level also gives a lot of trouble for newcomers to this category. Especially this first jump here, because it does require like the highest double jump height you need, or at least pretty close. So
You know, Alex just makes it look super easy.
yeah, you're supposed to unfreeze the Eskimos, and they help you like proceed through the level. But the first one I just skipped, having to get on the seesaw, or catapult rather.
Alex just skipped doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Alex just went for another proxy there.
Yeah, I tried to go
Alex
for
is
one.
just Alexing all over this.
And the top is non-solid, skipping even more Eskimos.
This also skips having to free the Eskimos, and they'll roll this boulder down to break the entire room so you can actually get into it.
We don't need to do that.
So coming up here is the first use of paying money bags.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you pay money bags twice in this route, as opposed to 3 times. But there is a way to skip into this level, believe it or not, but it's pretty much task only.
So what you're saying is you should have gone for it.
Yeah,
Oh
obviously.
yeah, it's very worth it. You have to go all the way up to the top of the castle.
So this ledge that Alex is about to jump on is actually only solid in a couple of spots, but because Alex knows exactly where they are, he's just going to very easily skip a huge chunk of the level.
Okay, there's another unskippable cutscene here. Break this door down, and then there's these explosive barrels with a guy in it who somehow doesn't
Miraculously unhurt.
with it. Wow! Oh, pick up that 10 gem, Sparks. I'm fine on gems, though. Have we explained Sparks at all?
I don't think so.
No.
Sparks is your health indicator, and he also picks up gems. Gold Sparks is the highest, followed by blue, green, and then none. Sparks will go ahead and grab gems as long as they're pretty close to you, but sometimes he's kind of lazy.
Gonna go for another proxy, which only like saves a second over just skipping to the end with just a double jump.
This is probably the easiest level for new players as long as you're not doing that.
Oh, I really wanted to show that off. But yeah, you can just do that and you're at the end. Don't you don't get very many gems here. There's not a whole lot of gems worth it here.
Yeah, most
That's
of
the shortest level, pretty much.
most of the gems in that level are like hidden away in areas that aren't exactly close to the end of the level. It's not very worth it. So one interesting thing about most of the designs of Spyro levels is a lot of times they like to make the level in a big circle, whether that's due to like rendering process in PS1. That's honestly generally the reason. But it allows it to be pretty easy to just get to the end of the level. So you could see he didn't even double jump to get over to the boat. He just charge jumped over there.
And then he double jumped and hovered pretty precisely and just hopped up on the talisman platform.
So coming up here is actually what most people would probably call like the bane of a new runner's existence when it comes to 14 tally,
I still have nightmares.
which is climb skip.
And also this trick called ground a portal that he's probably just going to make look super easy. Yep, first try. Essentially what he did was he double jumped and glided and turned so that he was pushed up onto the top of the portal, allowing him super easy access to climb skip.
So being the name climb skip, the main premise of it is just to skip buying climb from money bags.
EasyScape has a mic now, y'all.
Hey, everybody. I can't hear me, but hope you can.
Yeah, I guess it's a good point for donations now because this level, there's a good string of levels that aren't really that interesting. Just getting from beginning to end now.
Fantastic, because we have a couple great donations right here. Dewey sends in $50, says, really glad I woke up early to see Spyro. And Killicam sends in $20 saying, Spyro hype!
Can we get a hype from everyone?
Hype.
We also have Zintra sending in $20 saying, so excited to see Spyro and Crash, two of my favorites from when I was a kid. Shout out to my brother, Krish, for inviting me to introducing me to GDQ a few years ago. Now we get to bond over it, even though we're states away. Fantastic job, everyone, and keep up the hype!
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 You can keep going, Nikasaur. There really isn't anything exciting here.
Sure, I was mesmerized by dancing pigs on the street. This is my favorite level. Lena Darwin sends in $150 and says, hello as well from the UK. Loving SGDQ this year as I've been able to watch it at a reasonable time, and I'm finally able to donate to a great cause. Put this towards the Super Mario Odyssey Any Percent run, and good luck to the rest of the runners. Anonymous sent in a $250, but there's no comment. It's a mystery.
So he just tried going for a frame perfect trick. Basically, you'll charge into that satire and you'll be able to glide right when you and be able to break him and go all the way down there. But fortunately, missed it. But
And here he's going to go for another trick with a really precise charge jump and hover there. Skip's running around.
It's really close to that lava, so you don't want to be too far up. You'll die in that cutscene and have to start near, I think, the third stator.
It's the fifth stator. I die there frequently.
Oh, hi.
So we actually can get into this room early, but nothing's loaded into it.
Really? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can completely skip into the castle. It's easier if you get 5 staters, but yeah, nothing's loaded in if you go in there. Like, there are hitboxes for the baskets and the NPC, but her talk box isn't there, so unfortunately we have to free the satyrs and hear the terrible music.
So bad. You have to listen to bagpipes 8 times. That's 8 too many times.
This is the first level that he's actually going to use a power-up in the level. You only need 2 enemies to activate the power-ups. That's kind of what their use is for in this game. They give you these spirits that unlock the power-ups, and you do need the power-up to actually get the talisman unless you have climb.
Yeah, this is one of 2 power-ups that will be coming across during the run. The other one being generally a lot more well-known and important, but we'll get there when it comes.
He actually performed a super fly jump by holding down and doing a double jump input right as he went through that super fly arch. And he just super easily got on top of Volcano. Normally you would need climb for that.
With a lot of the double jumps he's doing, he's actually letting go of the double jump input, and it allows him to flop and use the momentum to flop on top of ledges. Allows you to get a little bit more height out of the double jump than they normally you would get if you just held down square.
Okay, last level in this homeworld. It's pretty much an escort level. You're just escorting a hippo that we call Shorty, and you're supposed to flame or hit these berry bushes that drop berries. He eats them, and then he grows really big and knocks all these doors down for us. That's pretty much it.
It's a highly interesting and intricate level, of course.
So naturally we'd love it if you hyped up some incentives or read some donations.
Yeah.
Perfect. We have $200 from Luke145 saying, getting my obligatory donation in. Love you all. Oh, thank you. There's $50 from Fuzzwump. My son was born during AGDQ2016, and I've watched every GDQ since together. I'm so excited to share my love of video games with him in the future, and hope to continue to share GDQ with him for many years to come. Conguo sends in $150, says, thanks for an awesome event, even though it ruins my sleep schedule. Amazing to see so many people donating to this. And Joey2 sends in $500. Says, thanks for all the work that goes into putting on this wonderful event together for a great cause. A chance to see Super Mario Odyssey and an opera performance? Yes, please.
Thanks for helping.
All right, so we're gonna be heading into Gulp here shortly, also known as RNG Gulp. Hopefully everything goes well there. Everything drops randomly, so every single boss, every single time you fight that boss, everything will be different.
And it's always suffering.
Yeah, the only thing consistent about Gulp is at the start of the Gulp fight, he'll always drop barrels first, and then he'll drop bombs and then rockets. And ideally, you want to get 2 barrels close together so that you can set up a double hit, and that'll skip the bomb phase. And of course, you don't want bombs because you can't get double hits with bombs. So the whole goal of this fight is to try to set up as many double hits as possible.
I'm pretty sure the goal is actually proxying off of Gulp's back, but don't quote me on that. So he's going to actually set up and try and do double barrels here because, like Chris said, we definitely want to skip bombs wherever possible. And that's a great setup.
Oh,
So-
okay.
That was close.
I just got the edge of the hitbox on the explosion there. Got really lucky there.
So yeah, bombs are supposed to spawn now, but we're actually going to get the rocket phase right now.
Rockets are really, 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 really easy to double. Just that and that. And now, if we get really good luck, we'll be able to triple, and that's what just makes this so inconsistent, because if you want to get the fastest time, well, you'll be getting ideally 2 triples here, but nobody gets 2 triples, so unless there's not really a good setup here for it. Yeah, we just got the 3 crates.
Aww.
Still got a couple more chances.
That's true. Get singles now.
These are some good setups for doubles here.
Yeah, he's actually gotten really good doubles luck this whole fight. Thank goodness. Makes me wonder what kind of time we'd be looking at if he had actually had FDS on.
Or it should still be really good as long as I get another double set up here.
That looks like
Yep.
a double
Wow.
setup.
Wow.
These
That's
barrel
really good
placements.
RNG.
Yeah.
Thank you, RN Gulp.
I think that's a really fast 5 cycle. That's
Oops.
Bless RNG.
I mean, he could literally get 3 bombs there and just not be able to do anything.
yeah, you can't get double hits with 2 bombs. So if you can get like a string of triple bombs on each cycle, and
I think I
you're just
finally come
spending
up with a way.
even more time there.
Or even better, you could get a bunch of chickens.
I love chicken.
Go loves them too.
I know. It's what we have in common.
All right, so
He's going to proxy off this penguin. Whoop.
Ooh, lots of
Nice
speed.
wall.
Oh,
He proxied too hard.
Let's wait on that.
There we
oh,
go.
that's looking good. Oh, come on.
There we
Okay.
go.
All right.
Okay.
And he's just gonna skip
We
right
are
into
good.
Dragon Shores.
Yeah, the portal is actually stored
There we go.
underneath, so he just goes in.
Yeah, you're supposed to unlock this level right after defeating the last boss.
We don't need to.
So there's some really neat things we can do in Dragon Shores. He's just went over the wall there with a simple double jump, and he's using the flop again to get over walls. And look, you can get the super flame power up.
Wow,
right
you
beneath
got
there.
100% and got the fireball power up, Alex. Good job.
So yeah, now I have permanent super flame or fireball, which
And then-
is going to be very useful for the last boss.
So now he's actually trying to get up on the wall so that he can do a pretty cool trick in order to get into the theater. All right. And now he's going to use a technique called the Sproderman to maintain his height and actually increase it a little as he goes around this mountain.
Now, you might be wondering why we're even going into the theater in the first place. And
We
that's
wanna watch a movie.
because... Yeah. No. I mean,
Oh,
Hey,
what?
game's
Ripto.
over.
Congratulations.
We did it, guys.
No.
26 now.
Actually, the reason that we do that is watching the ending cutscene actually gives you all of the abilities in the game.
It also gives us our money back and gets rid of money bags, which is my favorite part.
So now we get
Now we're
to-
able to swim, climb, and head bash
Wow.
without ever having to pay for it.
Movies are so educational.
So now I'm going to go for one last trick for getting into the final boss, which we call swim in air. Swimming in this game, like the actual places you can swim, they're instead of a container like this where you can swim, they're actually just plain. So if they're like sticking out,
You can
from
just
out
go
of
through.
bounds. Yeah.
And
So
that made
just
him.
charging down, like at the edge of the river, actually gave me swimming there.
So, a quick question, Alex. Are we going to be watching the cutscene before the third phase?
It's
No.
very important.
No?
No, this is a speed run.
But you're on SDS.
It was a very important question.
It's a very important cutscene, Alex. I'd like you to reconsider. Also, we're using Fireball to just make a complete mockery of this boss fight.
Yeah, this is really the reason why we want Fireball. It makes this fight very, very fast.
The task actually does pick up the orbs, but that's because the task gets perfect RNG. And here it's just business as usual. Timing ends as we lose control after the last hit on Ripto.
So, yeah,
So
we're,
get ready on time. Oh, he goes a long way around.
And
Where'd he go?
where do you
Okay,
go? Okay.
okay, time.
All right.
Any shout outs, Alex?
Just shout outs to my couch, the people that are here from the Spyro and Crash community.
I don't think we can ever thank you
Shout outs
enough,
to
Spyro.
Batskip.
I suppose you have to go now?
And
Better.
just
They'll be missing me in the Dragon
all of
Ball.
SGDQ people, you're all awesome.
I need it more than ever now.
Awesome job, man.
That was a 28-48.
With SDS, I think that would be like a low 27.
Yeah, that was a really good run, considering everything.
And since we're underestimate, can we do just one quick thing at the end of the run in Dragon Chores? No? Okay.
Gems as a reward for helping us.
Wow, thanks.
No tunnel of
Sparks, can you
love.
grab 'em? Let me
Alright.
just type in the new coordinates and
Yeah,
you can now go to Dragon
I hope you
Shores.
enjoyed the
Hey,
run.
why don't you guys
Thank
come
you
with me?
for
I bet you could use
having me
a
here.
I'm afraid we can't, Spyro. Ripto may be gone, but he caused a lot of damage during his short stay. So this coming up for
That was an amazing, amazing Spyro 2 run done by AlexDest, and seriously, great couch, great things. I felt like I went to Spyro school. I was learning so much today. Just incredible way to wake up or just to have a great early morning. We're going to throw it over to a Twitch ad, and then we'll be back for an interview for some of the Kirby block. All right, stay tuned. All right, looks like we're going to throw it over to an interview with Kung Fu Fruit Cup. There we go. E Bloody Candy and Swordsman Kirby.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are great. I'm Kung Fu here with Swordsman Kirby and E Bloody Candy, who are about to run some awesome Kirby games coming up after the Crash Run. So I understand you guys both run a multitude of games, some mainly in the Kirby category and some in the handheld category. So I wanted to know, first off, because you run so many games, what would you say is your favorite game to run? And then why? Tell me a bit about it.
Hello Kitty no Hanabatake.
Really?
Interesting. Okay, expand on that for me.
It's a Hello Kitty game for the Famicom where you get to water flowers.
Oh, that one, yeah.
That's literally all you do is water flowers until the flowers are completely grown, and then you move on to the next stage.
That's awesome. How long does that run usually?
17 to 20 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So what makes that your favorite?
It's more so the movement.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a lot of enemies. Like the game is a one-hit kill. So once you get touched by an enemy, you're dead. But everything is on a certain platform. Some of the times you have to understand cycling with moving platforms to get to like certain flower pots up in the air to water them. Understanding like the timings between the water and when the flower grows.
Okay. Oh, okay. Is this Game Boy?
This is Famicom.
Famicom. Oh, Famicom. That's cool. Okay, interesting. Okay. SK, what would you say?
I'd probably say Kirby and the Amazing Mirror 100%.
All right. So why is that your favorite?
It's just a really varied, I guess, complex run. I've personally had like contributions to the speed run, and it's just a lot of fun.
Awesome. Always good to have your favorite run be fun.
Yeah, that's a good prereq.
All right. So with all the Kirby games that you run, let's say somebody wants to join the community. What would be your tips for that? Like, since you have so much knowledge on all of it.
So first off, the Kirby community has a Discord, and I'd say just pick the Kirby game that you played a lot growing up. So my first Kirby speedrun that I took seriously, as you know, is Kirby 64.
I do.
And I had a ton of fun with that game. And there are a lot of Kirby games. I mean, there's 20-something of them, and in our Discord, you can probably find someone who's run one of those, run whichever game that you're looking at.
Right. How many out of the 20-some do you actually run? Do you know?
On the leaderboards, I have time for 19 of them.
19?
Yeah.
So most of them.
But some of them aren't anything more than a playthrough with a timer running while I'm doing it. So.
That's still something. I'm sure it's still faster than a lot of us would be able to do.
Some of them not really.
And so I've heard you do a lot of handheld stuff.
Yep.
What's your main focus in there, and what do you think is the best reason to get into more handheld running?
For me, Game Boy is probably my biggest focus. We have a handheld marathon coming up in July 13th, I think.
Cool.
That is this exclusively handheld system. So you have your PSP, your Wonder Swans, and stuff like that.
Awesome.
I would say the biggest barrier for entry is being able to record the gameplay.
Okay.
Things for Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and things of that nature. We have attachments for the Super Famicom or the GameCube and things like that to allow you to play the games. But things such as really obscure handhelds like the Wonder Swan or even the Game Gear, even because getting a TV mod out for a Game Gear is actually pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people will just use something on their computer or whatever to record. But just because you can't run it on an actual hardware, shouldn't deter you from actually running a handheld game at all. There's plenty of hidden gems on the handheld systems that everyone should dive into.
That's true. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't necessarily think of handheld gaming first sometimes because it is a bit more difficult to get them streamed. And
yeah, because I'm doing a challenge right now for Game Boy where I'm trying to do all 581 US and European released Game Boy games.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm 181 games in right now.
Oh my goodness.
And I've done my fair share of really bad games and some really good games that I never thought would be really good games just because I've either never heard of them or back in the day when you would buy a game, you judge it by the cover. You're oh, that cover looks kind of so I'm never going to buy this game. But after you play, it's one of the best games you've ever played.
Awesome. Okay, do you have, just off the top of your head, the worst game you've tried? Maybe one of the worst, just list.
Worms. Yeah, it was a European release game. It has no music. The graphics are just like sticks, basically. It's awful.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
it's the worst.
Oh no.
Elite
How long
Soccer's
did that
pretty
take to
bad
get
too.
through?
About an hour and a half.
Okay, at least it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Or that long. So how about for these runs coming up for you guys? Are there any specific challenges for us to look out for as viewers for these awesome runs?
For Dreamland, there's a few. Everything really starts in stage 2. So with Curry Kill, so about halfway through the stage, I'm going to attempt to get a Curry power up and with Kirby, and then take it to the very end of the game or very end of the stage.
Wow.
And try and defeat the final boss on it. The one thing I'm hoping for is not to soft lock that boss, because if you kill the boss in the same frame as it enters the door, the game doesn't register as a boss kill, so the boss just never respawns back in.
Oh no.
And then in Bubbly Clouds or stage 4, I'll be doing something called a double hit on Krakow. So basically we're gonna set up like what we call task spitting, which is we're gonna spit and swallow pretty much within the same frame of each other, and we're gonna basically have an instant action. We're gonna try and hit Krakow on the very first bomb that he drops, and then we're gonna try and suck in the second bomb and hit him again.
Wow.
And we're gonna do the same thing to DDD, or hopefully do the same thing to DDD in stage 5.
I'm hoping so too. Sure, it'll be great. It's gonna be great. Any quick things for us to look out for?
So my category is like a no major glitches category. So what's still allowed in this category are out of bounds stuff. Those can be pretty precise, and also these things called mixes, where you inhale 2 enemies with abilities, and you have to really accurately stop this like thing that cycles through all the abilities on like the right power up that you want.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, best of luck to that, guys. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for talking. Have a great run, each of you, this morning. And we are going to head on over to the Crash Bandicoot run in just a moment, guys. So good luck to Cameron Vengeance, and we will see you soon.
Okay, we ready for some more donations this morning? Because I am. We have Poro192 sends in $25 saying, longtime viewer, first-time donor. I always look forward to this event every year. I'm not sure if anyone else has done it, but hello, announcer. Hi. Good to see you this morning.